So, listen, if you've been feeling like this world's a little shaky these days, then you are not imagining things, okay? But just because times are unstable, that doesn't mean your money has to be, all right? So, listen close, everybody. Today on Asking for a Sister Friend, we're getting all the way real about how to make smart financial moves, even when everything around you feels unpredictable. And I couldn't be more excited because my guest today is the one and only Dr. Consuela D. Hopkins, also known as the Good Money Multiplier. But we are thrilled to welcome Dr. Consuela D. Hopkins, again, also known as the Good Money Multiplier. She is an international speaker. See, I told y'all I know international people. She has received the Presidential Lifetime Achievement Award, and she is the founder of CDH and Associates and CDH Empowerment Group. Now, she brings more than 30 years of strategic tax planning, wealth building, and community revitalization experience to the table. Thousands of people have been transformed. In fact, the whole town of
South,
is it Great Bend or what is it?
South Bend.
South Bend, Indiana has been transformed because of Consuela D. Hopkins. So again, today she's here to empower us with real strategies for building wealth, protecting what we've worked hard for, and navigating these unstable economic times like the bosses we are. Now we're talking not only to women, we're talking especially to high-powered women who have money that are, again, things look kind of funny. You worked hard for that money you've earned. But we are here today talking about tactical financial moves for high-powered women in unstable times. So I'm gonna stop talking because I am ready to welcome Dr. Consuela Hopkins. Welcome to the
Oh,
stage.
thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dr. Janice Love. Thank you for having me. And thank you, everyone, for even tuning in. I think we're going to have a really good conversation and just enjoy ourselves today.
Yes, Consuela, I was looking at, some of my financial stuff the other day, and I was like, you know what? Something's not right here. And kind of getting kind of nervous. I know ultimately that God's in control, but kind of getting kind of nervous about this. So why do you think right now, again, as we talk about this topic, why do you feel like it's especially important for high-powered women to rethink their financial strategies during these uncertain times that we're going through?
Well, as a economist, I mean, realistically, all the things I do is because I really pay attention to the economy.
Mhm.
And there's always ups and downs, and it is.
Right.
And
Hmm.
historically, I always say, there's nothing new under the sun.
Right.
Like,
Exactly.
so you got to be mindful and watch things. And there are, things that's happening that if you're not paying attention, I mean, you could lose,
Hmm.
great deal, right? And so one of the things that I want to talk about is just the fact that you don't have to. But we got to be mindful and you got to be wise
Okay.
and learn to also pivot. It's okay to pivot and change when you see change coming. And it all depends on what it is, what vehicle I feel like of investment you utilize, because
Hmm.
it's different.
Okay, let me go back because people don't know you like I know you, right? I know your whole story, right? Go, yeah. So talk about just a little bit about your journey that got you
Mm.
here in the first place. Go ahead and share that, please, because
Oh
I
my
I
goodness.
know it's going to bless somebody. I already know.
Well, I'm you're looking at a woman now who, thank God, the Lord has blessed me immensely on so many levels. And but it wasn't always so. I was a mother at 16 and then again at 19. And it was tough. I mean, talking about some tough times, and because I was that one in the family. Well, all of my siblings, I should say, just we had very high expectations on our lives, and so it was quite a disappointment and a hard learning curve, being a mother teenage mom, and I wasn't expecting to be a single mother, but sometimes you deal with broken promises,
Yeah.
and you got to deal with life. And so
Right.
as a college student, taking them two babies to school with me and just going through. But I tell you, people would expect me to be on welfare, uneducated, and financially bankrupt. But when
Mhm.
I know a man upstairs, those times taught me to pray. And I'm telling you, I prayed and prayed. And the Lord He showed me how to organize not only my finances, but
Mhm.
my life, right? How do I get to school on time? How do I get to work? How do I get these college classes? How do I make
Right.
sure these children, can get to their extracurricular activities on time? And He showed me. And it's those lessons, I'm telling you, so many times, He'll bring it back to my memory. So remember I taught you that? All right, now go teach it. Oh,
Ah,
okay.
all
And
right.
so,
All right.
and from that, Good Money Multiplier, one of our educational programs that we have, teaching people how to become first generation millionaires,
Praise
right?
God.
Everybody
Mhm.
wants to be one, but it's
Mhm.
more than a notion. And then when you get there, what does it look like, right? So I'm really big on entrepreneurship and utilizing our God given talent to multiply and live in abundance.
I love it because I know God has blessed you. I tell my friends all the time, I know a millionaire. I know somebody that owns a whole lot of property and is doing some wonderful
Thank
things. So
you.
so look at God. Look at God.
Look at God.
Okay. So let's get back to the topic here. So what are some of these warning signs that you're seeing going on that says there's some financial instability that's coming our way, either
Well,
personally or the economic, the
every time
economy?
there's a change in leadership, right? You,
Hmm.
you, you already know there's going to be some kind of unrest.
Hmm.
And so you want to pay attention to those and listen to what they're saying. But what I learned long time ago is not about what they're saying, right? It's about knowing your money, knowing what you're doing with it. Don't just invest or don't just put your money places because you have to educate yourself, period.
Hmm.
And I always learned, my mom taught me, and I'm so thankful for my mother. She said, "You watch the money. I don't care what
Mm.
you say. You watch the money." And that's it, ladies. I mean, and gentlemen. You want to be mindful and watch the money. Look at what the markets are doing and what they're not doing. For me, my vehicle of choice for investment has been real estate because I know no matter what,
Hmm.
it's not going anywhere,
Hmm.
and it's really a game changer when you utilize it correctly. But you just have to really know that. I mean, that's a simple nugget, but watch the money. Watch what they're saying, but what they're in there not saying. It's those unspoken cues, too,
Hmm.
that we want to get around others that understand what it is. And
Hmm.
I'm thinking, generally because there's so many vehicles out there now, stocks and bonds and mutual
Hmm.
funds and real estate and bitcoins, you name it. And each one of those have a little bit of a different dynamic, and you want to be just educated in whatever you are investing in. But it's easy to see when there's unrest in our
Hmm.
environment as far as
Hmm.
politically.
Hmm.
Um, Pay attention to those things, but it could be a good thing for you, right? That's when you know money, you know the Lord. I always say when you got your spiritual man in order and your
Right.
financial man in order, that's a beautiful thing because you stay aware.
Hmm. So as you've worked with clients, it's it's obvious that you have to help them with the mind shift when it comes to money.
Oh, first and
Can you talk a little bit about that mind shift that we need to make in order to be able to move forward and do the right things with our money?
absolutely. Mindset, I don't care what you're doing, you have to stay diligent. And that's just not, one affirmation a week, or you need to stay in your word and you need to stay consistent of being around positive individuals, period.
Hmm.
Or where you are, right? And people that you're around make a huge difference. Proximity is power. And so
Hmm.
you want to make sure your financial mindset is on point. So what does that mean? Again, like I said, you want to journal. I even created a 7-day journal we give away for free. And
Hmm.
then also have a year long 7-day spiritual money mindset journal. Because
Hmm.
what I've learned, Dr. Love, I love that. What I love, Dr. Love, is the fact that so many people, even those who were in church, we
Hmm.
were taught that money is the root of all evil. But
Hmm.
the love of money is the
Hmm.
root of all evil, because it'll have you doing all kind of crazy things. But when you learn to respect money, you learn to
Hmm.
monitor it. When you understand it's a currency, it is meant to flow in the way that the Lord has your life set up, and you're doing the things that He's supposed to do. That's that mindset I'm talking about, right? Not just trying to acquire the money, because
Hmm.
you can get it, but it might drive you crazy. But when you
Hmm.
understand that that money is supposed to be used for your purpose in life, to do what you were called to do, your assignment, should I say, it's a game changer. So that's that mindset shift I'm talking about. It's not about buying material things, but ain't nothing
Hmm.
wrong with having it.
Oh
But
yeah. Oh
it's
yeah.
about understanding truly your money mindset. And there's not enough of us, for one, talking about it. And that's why we're
Hmm.
teaching others. And there's not enough of us living in it and really understanding how beautiful life can be if you just understood it's okay. It's okay to respect and monitor your money.
So how do you help people with that mindset that you who are really kind of embarrassed to talk about their
Mhm,
money? Maybe they're in debt, maybe they have made some bad decisions and they just are really nervous about, being honest about that. When being a pastor's wife, and you know about this too, is that the basic principle in churches is that we're supposed to be tithing, right? And
mhm,
I remember my mom taught me a long time ago that if you are not giving God back the portion of that you're supposed to give back to Him because He gave it to you in the first place, there's going to be a hole in your bucket.
mhm.
There's always going to be a hole in your bucket. And so, how do you again help people get over the fact that they are embarrassed about what their situation is?
Well, I understand now, that I do have a gift of confidentiality. I've
Hmm.
celebrated 32 tax seasons, right? I just finished my 32nd tax season. So I have my own accounting firm, and we started out as Consuella's Accounting and Tax.
Hmm.
And literally, we just launched CDH and Associates because we're growing.
Hmm.
So 32nd tax season. And but in that, I understand, I tell all my clients, I don't care where you are. This
Hmm.
is a judge-free zone, because if you don't be honest with yourself and honest with someone that knows how to help you, you're going to stay stuck. And so I'm
Hmm.
thankful for that gift of knowing, of allowing people to feel protected, right?
Hmm.
And to know that confidentiality is my number one thing that we look to in our firm. And so for us, it just works. I think I had the pleasure, even my family working in the office with me on several times, right? And they were like, "Are you a tax accountant? Are you a counselor?" I can't tell. But it goes hand in hand, because I
Hmm.
understand how frightened sometimes we are,
Hmm.
want to let people know that we're not in order. But
Hmm.
that's okay. No one is all the way in order. No one,
Exactly.
right? We all have our seasons. The point is, especially business owners that have been in business for years, and then they come and they like, I need some help. And I'm like, when's the last time you did your financials? And it's been years. But they would first always start off saying, well, not too long ago. I always know what that means. It's
Hmm.
hey, it does not matter. This is my thing. So trust those who know this, right? This is my secret sauce. So you want to trust and get in rooms and get with individuals that understand that. And if
Hmm.
you don't, that's okay, because your gift is something different. But this is mine. So let down all of that. Let down all of that. It's a facade anyway.
Hmm. It is. It is. It is.
And get the
Wow.
help.
So get the help you need, and Consuela D. Hopkins is the one that can help you. So we're gonna shift here. I'm gonna go to a station break. When we come back, I want to, because this conversation is all about tactical financial moves for high powered women in unstable times. We're going to come back and we're going to talk about a few of those tactical moves that we should be thinking about making in order to be prepared and to get ourselves through this situation. So when we come back, that's what we're going to talk about. So here we pause for a station break.
Are you an expert speaker or coach with valuable knowledge to share? Now's your chance to teach, inspire, and get paid. Pearls Perfected Institute is recruiting passionate instructors to share their expertise with the world. We provide content support, course building tools, and a platform to reach more learners so that you can focus on what you do best, which is teaching. No tech hassle, just your knowledge, your voice, and your impact. Join us today. Apply now at pearlsperfectedinstitute.com and start sharing your expertise with the world.
All right, we are back here and we are talking with Dr. Consuela D. Hopkins about technical financial moves for high powered women in unstable times. So, you have already blessed me with some of the things that you have shared and confirm that, you know what, it doesn't make sense to not look at your stuff, right? Because that's not going to change anything if you don't look at it and
They
if
don't make
you
it no
don't.
better.
Right, it won't make it any better, but we should be strategic and
Yeah,
tactical in
yeah.
figuring out how to manage our finances during these difficult times. So, let's hear some of those, tactical moves that you have talked about that can help us, to protect or even grow our money.
Okay. And so I have there's like I have an arsenal, I should say.
I already know.
So I'm gonna just share a few of them with you guys
Okay.
today. But one of the things too that I must say, and I'm telling you, Dr. Janice, you are on target. Ladies and gentlemen, you want to make sure that you monetize your intellectual property. You must monetize your intellectual property. And these days, again, that's that gift. That's that gift that was given to you, your purpose. It was it was given to you to monetize, right? So you can not only feed your family, but feed the homeless, the world, whatever your purpose is and desire, right? And
Mhm,
I think that's so overlooked, because so many people, like, especially women, we
mhm,
always want to give away our gift. We always just want to give,
right,
give, give, and that's okay, right?
mhm,
But you also got to have self-preservation as well. That's what I love about that virtuous woman in Proverbs 31, right?
mhm,
It teaches you those foundations. So, but become an expert, create a framework. I just enjoyed your commercial, right? you
ah, thanks.
have the, you have it right here, right, where
Mhm,
they can be able to help master, and
mhm,
put what their expertise is and put it into place, right? License your programming. Build
right,
high ticket consulting. That's one of the things that I do as well, because you want to make sure that again, time is of the essence,
mhm,
right? And you want to make sure, especially with women, it's like the more unrest time seems like you have less time. That's one of the
mhm.
cues that something is going on, right? And how do you make the best of your time? Your own intellectual property. You want to make sure that you monetize it.
Yeah, I meet so many high-powered women who are, they're executives in their
Yes,
organization. And
yes.
even as I was trying to make my shift to start doing the things that God had created me to do,
Mhm.
I had to invest in myself from that perspective. We know how to do our jobs. We're doing our job. But when God says, "Okay, it's time for you to use what I've given you to be able to bless somebody else," then we have to be willing to step out on faith and do that. Afraid to leave the big time job, but you don't have to jump out right away.
You don't. You don't.
Start your little side hustle.
Absolutely. I say,
Start it.
your main job, if you will, that's your bank, that's your
Mhm.
financial institution.
Right.
Because you're going to need that money because it's really, really difficult. And not everybody can do it. I'm sure there's
Mhm.
some out there, but it's
Mhm.
really difficult to make money when you're worried about money,
Uh-huh, that's
right?
true.
So
Ooh,
start.
say that again. Say that again.
It's really hard to make money, right? When
Mhm,
you're stressing and you're scared about money.
mhm, mhm,
Okay, so you want to make sure that you're smart with it, right? Plan it
mhm,
out. Before I
Right.
was working with one of our largest banking institutions before I started my accounting firm. And
Uh-huh.
I knew that, I had to figure this thing out and see, okay, I can't leave just yet. Because again, right, I got these mouths to feed,
Yeah.
right? And why stress? You can't stress and make money. It's don't stress about it. You got to believe and trust in it and just do it.
Mhm.
Okay.
Mhm.
So I think that's very powerful. Very powerful.
Okay. Okay. So you talked about, starting making sure you are protecting your intellectual property. You
Yeah.
talked about doing
Monetize.
that, and yes,
Yes.
monetize it. I love that. And again, there's easy ways to do it. Again, you saw what I talked about as far as being the instructor for Personal Effective Institute. And again, I'm not here to toot my own horn, but I try to provide that place where people
Why not?
can
I'm
showcase their expertise without having to worry about all the technology or having to start a whole new website and doing all these things. So again,
You know
thank
how
you for
valuable
sharing
that
that.
was? That would have been for me when
Mhm.
I first got started, right?
For
So
me
I get
too.
yes, but again, but I wanted to go back a little bit on what you said too about when women are, and men, we're in these corporate jobs, we're doing
Mhm.
very well, but we know there's more. There's more.
Mhm. Mhm.
Ladies and gentlemen, let me be the first to say, you got to pay to play now, y'all. I'm sorry. There's not,
Mhm.
you can do free YouTube university all you want,
Yeah.
but it ain't gonna get you there. You want to go,
Mhm.
and honestly, what I've learned over the years is the more you pay, right, the quicker you get there. For me, in
All
my
right.
experience, right,
Mhm.
because you want to get to the what I call the guru on the mountain. That
Mhm.
those who are already doing it, why would you
Mhm.
start with those who are still struggling? It don't make sense, right? So again,
Right.
time is of the essence. So anyway, but again, get in where you fit in. But I wanted to make sure that I said that too, because so many people are concerned about investing in themselves, right? But to
Mm. Mhm.
monetize your own intellectual property, what's in your
Mhm.
heart and in your mind, you're
Mhm.
gonna have to pay and invest in yourself, and that's when that's that good money, good money, good money.
I love it. I love it. I haven't heard you say that in a long time, and I just got excited by hearing you say it.
Oh,
Okay.
bless your heart.
So what are some common traps that women fall into?
Well,
Especially women.
that they freeze. One of the things that they don't know what to do, so they just freeze
Okay.
and do nothing, right?
Okay.
But you want to make sure that you really look for opportunity, right?
Mhm.
Again, that's that soul searching, that's that praying, that's that talking, so that when that opportunity comes, it's right on point. It's right
Mhm.
on point.
Mhm.
And then when maybe opportunity comes, it's not in your path. Okay, that's a no. And
Mhm.
so, but don't freeze. So many times people just want to freeze, right? But there's opportunity in what I want to say. Like you want to stay liquid, but also stay bold. So
Okay.
don't freeze with your money. Don't do nothing. But when you want to look for other opportunities, and I want to give you some. For me,
Okay.
what it is like when the market goes up and down,
Mhm.
versus trying to hold on to my money, right? Currency, you guys, needs to flow. Just remember that.
Mm.
So distressed real estate, perfect place to liquefy your money, right? And there's so many different vehicles right now with real estate. So, or you can even do like a business acquisition.
Mm.
I do a young entrepreneurship group too, for our young entrepreneurs in our community. And one of
Mhm.
the things that we're showing them is how you can literally go online and acquire other businesses. Right. So
Mm.
it can be a vending machine. They could be, they got time and energy. They can go and change the gumball machines. It could be an
Uh-huh.
ATM, all these different ideas. But again, don't freeze. Don't just hold on to your money. Look at other side hustles, if you will, but look
Okay.
at other ways that you can then generate income that's almost economic proof,
Mhm.
right? And
Mhm.
never everything is going to do it all for you, but there's too many things that can. Too many things that
Oh,
can.
I
Yes.
love that. I love that because we don't oftentimes think out of the box.
Right.
When you look at things like there's you can Airbnb a space in your home. There are people who are
Mhm.
are doing things, even from a Uber perspective. Right now, me and my husband have been watching this gentleman. He retired from doing some things, and he is like the world's best Uber driver right now.
See,
And he's making money. He's
happy.
using his time, and he's blessing other people.
See,
Nobody gets in his car without him blessing them, I tell you.
see,
So
that's
we do
that.
have to think outside of the box. So if somebody is just scared or late getting started, where should they even start? Should they just sit down and or talk to somebody? Should they just kind of take an assessment of all their gifts and talents? What should someone do who's just
Very, very good question. Very good question. So, someone, if you just, like, where do I start? Late in the
mhm,
game, just anywhere, you do
mhm,
want to assessment of yourself. You want to look at what it is that you like to do, right? What is it that you do well? What is it that
mhm,
those things that people call you and always ask you about, right? So for me, it
mhm,
was finances. Even
mhm,
before I had a clue on how to do half of these things I know how to do now. So take an assessment of yourself, but more importantly, what do you enjoy doing?
ooh,
If
yes.
you're not doing it right now, what is that? What is that end game for you that you really enjoy doing? So take an assessment, and then from there, hire a coach, hire someone that has already
Mhm.
done what you're trying to do.
Amen. Amen for the coaches out there.
Mm-hmm.
So you talk a lot about building wealth for the long haul, and I know that you're very big on real estate, right?
Mm-hmm.
You own Swaylesville. Tell us about Swaylesville.
So Swalesville is a community that I grew up in, actually, where
Mhm,
my great grandmother, um, you know, just taught us integrity and community. But what
mhm,
I found is that a lot of people were losing their way of life. We weren't creating as many businesses. They weren't
mhm,
home like it used to be, right? And then when I really realized and did my homework, there's Swalesville all over the world, right? Some things
mhm,
are systematic and just for certain communities. And so what I did, I learned to be a problem solver. That's
mhm,
another thing. While you're doing that assessment, look around you and see what's missing and
mm,
fill the need. And that's literally all I did. So we created Swalesville, which was coined, the name was coined by my youngest son. And now within Swalesville, we have Swalesville office studios and suites. I'm sitting in one now where we literally renovated an old medical building that was always historically African American owned and operated. So it felt
mm,
so good for me to be able to buy it and keep it historically African American owned and operated right here in the community. And we laid it out, we beautified it where now entrepreneurs can come and do business. We got a beautiful boardroom, waiting area, and you have your own private suite. It's not like you have a shared space where everybody
mhm,
hears the conversation. You get
right.
your key to your door. And even more than that, the step that I want to talk about entrepreneurship and business owners, we also made sure that business owners have their own address to get funding,
Mhm,
to be legit. You need that, right? So we look
yes, yes.
think it through for how you can succeed. And then we're building a village. We have um, daycares. We've just been doing some phenomenal things, just really empowering our community. Because again, we all was born with a gift. I just want us to tap into it and monetize it. Because when we learn to circulate our income one to
Mhm,
another before it go out the community, that's where our wealth is. Our wealth is within ourselves. Our wealth, we are the wealth.
mhm,
Abundance is our birthright. So we have our accounting firm. We have a real estate development company called CDH and Developments, where now we're offering opportunity for others to invest in Swalesville and also then multiply
mhm,
their investment. So I'm excited on so many levels to see this huge. When you sit down, be ready for
mhm.
what the Lord may tell you to do. Because when He first told me, I think it was when I was me, Janice, somewhere in this, and
Uh-huh.
it was so much bigger than me. So, and it still is.
Mhm,
But you
mhm.
walk in it. You just walk in it, and
Right. It's actually frightening, but it's humbling at the same time
at the
that
same
the
time,
Lord chose me to do this, and I'm scared. But if he decided this is going to happen, then He's gonna make it happen.
He
All
gonna
I
make it
gotta
happen
do is be obedient. I love that. I love it.
like that.
So you have this all this real estate stuff on my bucket list is to come and work a week from Swaylesville. Okay. That's on
Ooh,
my bucket list
love
to come
that.
hang out with you for a week and get one of those suites in Swaylesville since I can work from anywhere. Is to
Absolutely.
come and do that. So we're gonna make that happen. I am coming to South Bend, Indiana.
Okay. So we
Um,
got to also put on the list. We
okay.
have what's called the VIP Oasis. So
Hmm.
again, created a space because you got to think outside the box. And I want to
Right.
talk about
Okay.
the industrial where we literally have it's a jacuzzi, fire pits. There's a gazebo tent, a hammock, just a place that you can come and relax and enjoy yourself. And what I found, being a tax accountant,
Hmm.
a lot of my clients were women who had a business, but then they also
Hmm.
were full time, and they were just exhausted when they came to do
Hmm.
taxes, you know. And so I thought, again, you see a need, you feel it, and so now what I created within my accounting firm, and it's a write off, was our VIP. For our VIPs. So if you
Hmm.
come so many different years, now you're VIP. When you come get your taxes done, you can go, you can get a massage, you can get in a jacuzzi, you can do all those things, right?
Hmm.
Relax. When you leave our firm, you are rejuvenated, right? So, and then we also allow the community to be able to rent it out as well. It's
Oh, I already know I'm on the VIP list right
oh,
there.
absolutely. So we definitely got to make sure we do that as well.
I love it. And so you are doing so many things. And so that is why I wanted to have you on the show because again, I know you just came through tax season and I know I wore you out because I had family. You were doing some of my family's taxes, right? So I know you were worn out. But
Hmm.
God has placed all these ideas in your heart and mind. He has planted that vision and you are doing it. And
Thank
I
you.
know that there are some people who will watch this and will see your vision and say, you know what? I can do something like that in my own community.
Yes, you
And the things that you're doing are just spreading that they're
can.
going forward. The Lord is sharing them. I'm way over here in Kansas, right? I know you've been to Dubai a couple of times sharing these kinds of things. So the Lord is really, really blessing your efforts. And so that's why I wanted people to meet you because
Thank you.
somebody needs to either hire you as a coach or somebody needs to look at your model. Somebody is going to take the things that you have, those nuggets you planted today, and say, you know what? I got some intellectual property. You know what? I got the money that I need to do something with. And so that's the reason why I had to have you on this show, girl.
Thank you.
So, thank you, thank you, thank you. So, a couple more questions, and then we're gonna try to get out of here. Okay.
Okay.
So, when it comes to our money, we are really emotional about it.
Mhm.
Okay. We are so emotional about money. So, how do you help women again to stay in empowered and not spiral out in fear when it comes to making financial decisions? How do you help them?
Well, by having a plan, a simple
Okay.
plan, and
Okay.
so it's all simple things, but you got to stay the course, right? You
Hmm.
you have a plan, and what I love about plans, don't things change, and that's okay because then you pivot. But
Hmm.
having a plan gives you more power. What do you want to do? Where you want to go on vacation? What does that look like? Who do you want to bless? Have a plan. And so when things change for the good or for the
Hmm.
bad, doesn't matter, then you're able to look at that and say, okay, I can adjust this. This doesn't necessarily have to happen, right? So you don't have to fall apart. You're in control of your finances. You're in control of it, period.
Hmm.
What you
Yes.
think, how much money you feel like you're worthy of making, how much money you feel like you're worthy of tithing, giving, donate. It doesn't, you're in control. It's all in your mind. And again, what so a man thinketh,
Hmm.
so is he,
So it's he.
so is
Hmm.
he, right? And early in life, I started telling him, I'm a king's kid. What king's kid do you know, right? That's
Right. Uh
struggling.
huh.
And I've never seen his seed begging bread.
That's right. That's right.
No,
Look,
so
I
you
already know
gotta
you
think
you can
no.
start preaching up in here too. I already know that too, right?
Okay, that's another segment.
Exactly. We'll have to do a part two of this because I know there are going to be lots of questions and things that people have. Now,
Mhm.
first of all, I need to let people know how to find you. Let me get your stuff up here, girl, so we can let people know how to find you. What's your website?
Our website is cdh dot associates.
Mm-hmm.
cdh.associates.
Associates.com.
Nope.
Just CDH Associates.
Yep. cdh dot associates.
CDH Associates. I'm gonna put that up there so everybody can
Thank
find you.
you. That's it.
And so
And when I
you are on social
know,
media too, right? Go ahead.
oh, absolutely. But on cdh dot associates, we have a mailing list. Sign up for the mailing list because that'll get you plugged into everything else. Trust and know, because there are a lot of different things, as you pointed out, that we're doing. But I couldn't do it if I didn't have a team. But I remember when I didn't have a team and I was trying to figure all this out, I hired a coach. Again,
Exactly.
so, but I did the investment. You did the investment. We
Hmm.
met, right, doing some
Right.
phenomenal things together that took us
Exactly.
outside of our comfort zone. And I'm saying that because if we've already invested that money, then utilize the knowledge that we have
Hmm.
and join in. But again, it's much easier. You get to the finish line a lot quicker if you do it
Hmm.
together. There's power in
Exactly.
proximity.
Exactly. So they can also find you on social media, right?
Yes,
Okay.
I am. Yeah,
Go
so on
ahead. Tell me
social
what it
media,
is.
the number one thing, go to Good Money Multiplier.
Look, I got to put that up there. Yep. Go to the Good Money Multiplier because it's all good money, good money, good
Money,
money.
good money, good money. And you can find me there on all social media, especially LinkedIn. You guys
Hmm.
go and connect with me there in LinkedIn. I know that we're just going to be doing some phenomenal things, and wherever individuals are in their financial journey, I don't care. We're just starting out, don't have much, to even rub together. Where your mental mindset is for money, it doesn't matter. We have a roadmap, right? I call it our
Hmm.
blueprint. Right? I'm a
Hmm.
builder. I'm building things for the kingdom, and that blueprint would truly get you the first generation millionaire. And so, but you got to apply and you got to do the work and just duplicate.
Yes, yes, I love it. And
Yeah.
and again, I just want to let our listeners know you just not doing other things. I know you're raising your granddaughter, and,
Yeah.
and the loss of your daughter. I know you're doing that. And again, you're blessing the community. You take the time to work with the youth. And I understand is it your granddaughter or niece or somebody has a suite up in Swalersville?
Yes, yes. She said, sweet. They call me Sweet G. My grandbabies call me Sweet G.
Uh-huh.
I want a sweet. I'm like, well, if you do this, this, and this, you can. Basically, I took her through the blueprint, right? To where
Uh-huh.
she can understand. And she did her work. I said, all right, this is the deal. If you do it, I'm giving you 2 months free, but you got to pay that rent, which means you got to make some money. You got to implement this.
Right.
And I am so godly proud of just the way that she is learning, growing, and staying teachable, right? Because I have
Uh-huh.
to remember she's just starting, and I've been doing this a
All right.
while, right? But it's phenomenal to see. It is on so many levels, and it's not easy. I have to rest, right? I feel like
Right.
that's one of those things in strategic financial unrest in this time.
Hmm.
Give yourself some time, give yourself some grace, and know that
Hmm.
it's all going to work out anyway. But you got to rest, right? Because you're
Exactly.
nobody's. We are nobody's Jesus or God.
Right.
So when we reach
Exactly.
that, we okay.
I love it. I love it. Okay, so girl, we gotta get out of here.
Okay.
But thank you so much for
Thank
pouring
you.
into us today. You've given us some strategies to not only just multiply our money, but also to multiply our impact, which you have done so well.
Thank
So,
you.
ladies, if you're ready to start making those tactical moves, and again, not just ladies, but men too, if
Mhm.
you're ready to make those tactical moves instead of those emotional ones right now, Make sure you connect with Dr. Hopkins, Dr. Consuela Hopkins, and check out her Good Money Multiplier program and start getting her information. Start going and sign up on her website. Start getting her information. I guarantee you'll be blessed by it, just like I know you have been blessed today. So thank you, Dr. Consuela. We're going to